Hey, it's Ben from Humblefish Motoring, and I've done something very special to my Lexus GX460 today. I've been waiting a long time to get it upgraded, meaning to get a lift kit, bigger tires, just because I had a really good set of all-season tires before, and I just thought it'd be a waste to go and just throw them out and get new ones. It took a few years for it to go away. to get used up, but finally my tires were getting pretty low in tread, so it's time for a new upgrade on my GX460. All right, without further delay, here we go. So, let's start with the wheels. I was gonna actually start with the lift kit, but why not start with the wheels? These are Falken Wildpeak A T4s, all-terrain tires. It's 285 70 R17s, right? Very big, beefy tires. Now, I wanted to get a G KO2 set, but now the KO2s have been replaced by the KO3s. And so the guy who installed my tires, or the shop that installed my tires, as well as the customer there, were saying the KO3s make a lot of noise. Now, I've watched reviews between both the Wildpeaks and the KO3s, and they're pretty close. I've heard that they make a lot of noise. You guys tell me if you have KO3s if they make noise, but they said the Wildpeaks are better riding tire, rides a lot better. So, but in any case, it looks pretty aggressive. I wish I got the white sidewall with the lettering, but I don't think the Wildpeaks had it. I'm not sure though, but this looks really great. So you've got the fake bead lock going on. It's not real bead lock, but well, I'll get to the wheels in a sec. But yeah, so these are the tires. The wheels got the fake bead locks, but they're method, I think they're 312s. They're method 312s, I believe. Bronze. I love the deep concave look that it has. They're 17-inch wheels. For wheels, I wanted a bronze color because I think it goes well with the black exterior of my GX460. I wanted a bronze color. I wanted the deep concave look. I love the TRD wheels that's on the 4Runner. Those TRD Pro wheels, it's really good. I like that kind of look, but I wanted something else than TRD. Nothing against them, but I wanted like some aftermarket good brand and Method or you know, good wheels. So these are Method 312s. I really like them. They really fit nicely on the Wildpeaks. You can see that here as well. They're big beefy tires, big beefy wheels. I'll get to the suspension in a little bit, and let me go to this side over here. Look at that. It looks really beefy and aggressive. I wanted the poke effect where the tires stick out just a little bit. I think it's zero offset, but you can see that there's no spacers, nothing. It's just it's a really thick and wider tire, so you can see that there's a little bit of poke. I love that. It looks just so aggressive. Really makes this SUV look really capable. And not just look, it is capable. And you all know how capable these GX460s are. I mean, they're sold as Land Cruiser Prados on the other side of the world. And I love it that here in America that we have GX460s than Land Cruiser Prados, because those are more stripped down. I think they have some more off-road potential, but I mean, these have the V8s. We got the V8s. We got the luxury leather, and then I still have crawl control and multi-terrain select, which I retrofitted. You can see that in the previous video. So it is very capable. So let's talk about suspension now. Suspension. Okay, before I show you the suspension, I'll tell you what my requirements were. So for suspension, I wanted a 2.5 to 3 inch lift. Initially, I wanted a 3-inch lift, but I thought that would be a bit too high for this. I was reading that, you know, if I got those, and then I'd have to get I don't know if I would have to get my speedometer adjusted. I don't know if that's related to bigger tires. I mean, these are about 33.5, 34 inch. So I'm not sure. I just thought 3-inch was like the maximum capability. So I wanted to be something under that, but over 2.5 or over 2. So I went with a 2.5-inch lift. So 2.5-inch lift is kind of where I wanted it. And then I was looking at Dobinsons for a long time because I've heard really good things about Dobinsons with Lexus GX460s. But the problem was so I actually went into my off-road shop and said, hey, can you put Dobinson's 2.5-inch lift? I think it was the IMS. I didn't want to have any, I'm not going to do any crazy off-roading. I didn't want any reservoirs and things like that. And I didn't want to rebuild my shocks every, 10, 20, 30,000 miles. I wanted it to be as close to stock where I don't have to rebuild them for a very long time. Plus, I only plan to do light off-roading or light off-road trails, and most of it's a family vehicle. We're going to do long-distance trips on it, so I wanted to be comfortable. And I wasn't going to do any rock climbing or anything like this. So, rock crawling, or anything like that. So it's a very conservative suspension setup, 2.5-inch lift. It was definitely an issue with Dobinson's support of KDSS. And I really wanted it to be a stock support. So the next thing that the guy told me was at the shop, he's like, well, he's had lots of success with Ironman. And again, Ironman is pretty popular. I've seen other videos online with GX460s and Ironman. So I got the Ironman foam cell Pro, I think. Suspension lift, 2.5-inch. I did get so here we go. It's nice and green. You can see it over there. I've got the upper control arms. You can see that as well. Right, so it rides really well. Actually, I can honestly say it rides like stock, or maybe even better. I think. At first I was like, the guy told me to ride better, but the more and more I ride it, it rides, if not just like stock, maybe even a little better. And I don't have to rebuild this for a long time, I think. So the 2.5-inch lift, Ironman Foam Cell Pro, and I've only had this for a few days and a couple hundred miles. Loving it. I'll get to the cons. So the pros are these. Oh, and then the other thing I added was Cali Raised lights. Now I wanted to get rigid lights, but those are really expensive. And the shop told me, look, it's a brand name, just a Cali Raised is much better. And here it is. So the Cali Raised lights set up, the ditch lights here, they're angled a little bit to the side here. And I'll show you the wiring. Well, not the wiring, I'll show you how it's wired. So it goes in through there, and they did a really good job of tucking it in. And there's a couple of blanks here. And so here's the blank, right? But the light, so it came with Cali Raised came with the ditch light setup. So when you click it on, oops, there you go. It's a bit sticky, the button, but when you click it on, yeah, it also lights up blue, and it is really bright. I mean, these are really, really nice. They look aggressive. They function very well here. But in those kind of environments, this really does provide extra lighting. And it also looks really nice, as you can see through there. Now, I wanted to keep the, what do you call these? The side steps, the original ones, because they do have underbody lighting, I believe, that come on and off. I didn't want to get rock sliders or anything like that. And also because of the raised height, my wife can step into it much better. My kids can step into it. Even I use it more now because it is a lot taller with the 2.5-inch lift and the bigger tires, bigger wheel tire setup. So what I do is I use this, I step up, I grab the grab handle, I pull myself up, and I've got a very, very nice commanding view up here. So you can see that. It's very commanding. You can see those ditch lights, and it looks really, really good. Of course, I've got the crawl control multi-train select here. I have to try it with that. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm gonna go on a dirt road hopefully this weekend or next weekend and see how that works out. At least a multi-train select. So yeah, it is very, now it's not only just very capable, it also has the hardware to go about it. I didn't want to do any trimmings or anything like that. I do like how it looks. I understand why people trim them off if they want to go hardcore off-roading. It is gonna the overhangs on the back and the front, definitely the back there, you know, it does impede and a lot of the rocks when you try to go over them and stuff like that in extreme off-roading scenarios or more extreme off-roading scenarios. The approach and departure angles are limited with this. But for me, I think, you know, now with the increased approach and departure angles, I'm assuming breakover angles. I'm not an off-road expert, but again, I don't plan to be doing that crazy kind of off-roading, so I think this is good. Okay, so another couple of things that I wanted to get that I didn't get. So these are the basic upgrades that I wanted to get, but now I wanted to have this extra tire, wheel tire, mounted back here. Why? Because the GX460 has a swing out gate that could be mounted, so we could have a tire mounted. Some people have this kind of bracket here and a swing out gate, kind of like a Jeep does. I wanted a more stock design because the Land Cruiser Prado has an actual stock wheel here. There's a company called JW Off-Road. I believe they're in California, and they make a nice, what do you call it? Nice system to mount the fifth wheel, the spare wheel here, with a license plate and a backup camera relocator off to the side. It's about $700 or $800, something like that. I wanted to really get that. But what the guy told me was they'll have to drill into the body here in order to mount it. And when you mount it like that, we have lots of rain here in Florida, tropical rains, hurricanes. Water is gonna seep through, and it's just not gonna have a good effect long term. And I didn't want to really drill anything into bodywork. Same with the snorkel. The snorkel would have been cool looking. Yes, I know people say if you don't really need it, you know, unless you're doing that kind of extreme off-roading, but it really does look aggressive, and it would have been cool. But again, you have to drill in to the bodywork, so I didn't get those things. So I'm using the, you can see down here, I kept the stock tire. The stock, what do you call it? The stock spare tire, full size. It's a 31 inch. So in any case, if I have to, God willing, I don't have to use it. But if I had to use it one day, it'll lean a little bit for a few miles till I can get my wheel back and get, you know, drive to a tire shop. Okay, so for the cons, it's the major con, and the only con that I've really experienced so far is rubbing. So that kind of happens. I didn't have to do a body mount shop or anything like that. I didn't put 35s or anything. 285, 70, 17 seemed pretty common. The 33.5 to 34 inch-ish. I think that, you know, that's a common layout that people have got for their tires. However, it really did rub on whenever it was lock to lock on either side, whether going front or back, forward or reverse. We had to do a good amount of cutting. So what I mean by that is, so you can see all over here, right? You can see over here, it's all that plastic's being cut. It was a lot of plastic here. With this tire would definitely hit on that plastic on this side. And over here, the same thing. We had to cut and then roll back and zip tie a lot of plastics here. You can see that. I'm hoping the water bottle will be okay. If you all know about that, let me know. The shop said it's fine. So again, I'm new to not just off-roading, but upgrading, and they, you know, I took the shop's word on that. They said it's fine, it doesn't hit. Let me know if anybody's cut and what you all did with the water bottle. I'd still like to get some kind of cover for that if possible, but it did rub. So they did cut those pieces and then they tuck some away. Same thing here. They cut and tuck a little bit here on this side. And on this side as well, zip tied some of this back. You can see it's pretty secure. So those were the rubbing was the only problem that I had, and I'll put a video of the rubbing. There it is. It's right there. Go back slowly. There it is. Okay, stop. Now go forward and turn right. Yeah, go back in. Yeah, so this is it. Let me tell you, this thing looks so good. I mean, I always thought the Lexus GX460 with the Predator grille, so the 2014 to 2019, or yeah, 2014 to 2019 grille, this is a 2017 model, looked really good. I do like the 2020 to 2023 as well, with the dual triple beam LEDs. This one has the LEDs only on the low beam, and of course the daytime strip, but the bright, so the high beam is halogen. But now I do have the LED ditch light, so that works out. And I believe the fogs are LED as well. So this is a very aggressive looking setup. I love how the body protrudes a little bit on the back. It has a little bit of a bulge looking thing there or over here. Very, very Toyota and Lexus did a very good job designing this. Now the new GX550 is also very handsome car. It's very aggressive looking, especially the overtrail. But I mean, and I've seen them with 35s. They look pretty good too. But that's a newer car. I wouldn't do that to a new car. I wouldn't do this to a newer car. Now that my car is way out of warranty, I've got about 78,000 miles on it. I mean, this is the first time I'm doing these kind of upgrades. Any upgrades I've done so far to it, like you can see the roof rack, crossbars, the tow hitch, those are all OEM Lexus, as well as the crawl control and multi-terrain select. They're all OEM, except for the GROM audio. So I needed CarPlay. I think that was the very first thing I did. I put a GROM audio in it so I can get Apple CarPlay. And that's it. And have fun with it. So if anyone's on the fence to buy a GX460, it is wonderful. I put previous videos on reasons why I didn't want to go with the GX550. I was kind of disappointed in a lot of things. Engine, the lack of the third row, things like that. And the fact that the inside materials looks and feels a lot cheaper than these plush leather that you get in the GX460, even after so many miles. Yes, there's wear and tear, but it's held up pretty well. And you know, I love it. My wife and my kids love it. It is a wonderful SUV. It's got a third row that folds flat, so I don't have to third row delete if we ever need. If people come to visit, we need that extra space. Yes, there's only about like a few inches after of cargo space after the third row goes up, but we hardly use a third row unless people come visit. And then of course we have the roof rack. So the only other thing I probably would do is buy a Thule cargo box thing to put it on top, so I have a cargo box, so whenever we do have a third row up or we don't have enough luggage space, we can put stuff on the roof. And that's it. So thank you, Lord Jesus Christ, for a wonderful SUV. We are so blessed to have it. The cost was $2,400, $2,439 so for the Form Cell Pro. The bronze wheels, the Method 312 bronze wheels, they were about almost $400 a wheel, so it came to about $1,600 for those. The Falken Wildpeak A T4Ws were about $333 a wheel, so they came up to about just over $1,300 for those. And then the ditch lights, the Cali Raised ditch lights, they came to be about $400 for the pair of them, I think. So those are the parts. And then of course with the alignment and everything, it came to around $7,800 for parts and labor. However, you know, there was a delay. So Ironman sent the front shocks in a wrong size, or it wasn't preloaded or something like that. It was not fitting. Sorry, it wasn't. No, not that it wasn't preloaded. It was the wrong size for this for the GX460. So they had to send it back and then get the new one. It was on a Thursday, so it would have taken till Monday. So I had to sit all night overnight. I had to rent a car. That's why I rented the Tesla in my previous video. So the Tesla, renting it for like 5 days cost me like $500. It's about 100 and something a day, just over $500. So that, you know, that added to the cost as well. So, which kind of sucked because we needed a family vehicle. So with that said, the shop I went to did a really good job on it, and they also they gave me back, they honored the fact that it was late, even though it wasn't their fault. They gave me back some money on it. So at the end of the day, instead of $7,800, I think I paid maybe $7,400, $7,500. I saved a couple $100 on that. They gave me a good discount. They also knocked some money off for shipping. So it was all in all, it was about $7,400, $7,500, give or take $100 here and there. And now I'm ready for the rainy season because there's a lot of rain coming, and these tires are so beefy. Check these out. Look how beefy these are. So I'll have more reviews as I, you know, do more miles on this setup. This is brand new. I've only done a couple hundred miles. I'll go back to the shop a few hundred miles later for them to check out the suspension again, tighten any lug nuts, do all that kind of stuff. But other than that, it's great, and I'll report more on how the ride is and things like that when I'm 10,000, 20,000 miles in, how the suspension's holding up and things like that. But for now, I'm loving it. It looks fantastic. Praise God. I love it. All right, so thanks everyone. Have a blessed day. Take care.